Alright, what's going on everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler, and welcome to a brand new review. And this time around we'll be checking out a film that was sent to me review by Scorpion Films, and you can pick this up on Blu-ray at all your favorite online retailers. It is a film from the year 1981, released by good old Cannon Films, and it is a film titled Body and Soul. So yes, this is a Cannon Films movie produced by good old Cannon. And if you guys are familiar with Cannon, you know what you're going to get. This came out in 1981, a few years after the Rocky craze, and you basically get a Blackspoltation Rocky Rip-off, including the classic montage scene. I mean, you get all your good old-fashioned Rocky Rip-off points in this movie, along with the typical Cannon sleaze that you all know and love. This movie just has nudity just sprinkled into it just because it's Cannon, and Cannon knows that nudity sold in the 80s. So they just plopped in some nudity in the middle of this movie. Every half an hour or so, there's some nudity, and that's what the audience members of Cannon Films want, and that's what they get. So we follow Leon. Leon's played by Leon Isaac Kennedy. That's another thing with this movie. All the main characters are named after their real life name. So Leon is a up-and-coming boxer. His sister is sick in the hospital, dying of a disease, and he is inspired to become a doctor, but he throws that all away to become a boxer to try and raise enough money to help his sister out and save his sister, and he's sacrificing his future and his well-being to help save his sister. And it's his rise to the top of the ladder, as you typically have in your usual Rocky films. And along the way, he runs into Jane Kennedy, who becomes his love interest. And of course, he gets caught messing around, and Jane Kennedy becomes very upset with him. And there's a whole love story in between that. And it's your typical rise to the top Rocky kind of movie. Now, with Cannon Films, usually a lot of the time you're going to have a really interesting soundtrack, like All American Virgin. That movie has, The Last American Virgin. That movie has a pretty interesting soundtrack. You know, they bought up all these rights for all these REO songs and popular songs from the 80s, and they use it over and over and over again in that movie just to try to milk it and get all that they can out of the rights of that song. In this movie, it has just an absolutely cheesy, awful soundtrack, and it pops up in the most hilarious ways throughout the movie. And the film also has some absolutely awful writing, which is what you kind of expect from a Rocky ripoff. It's not that well written, and some of the dialogue is cringy at some points. I know that's a iffy word to say here, but it is cringy. But the movie's not poorly made or anything like that. It's technically, it's made pretty well. It has good camera work, and the acting is okay. I mean, they did the best that they can with the script that they were provided. But the camera work is solid. It looks like a real movie, easy to follow. I can't lie that I didn't kind of enjoy it. It's not a good movie, but I can't say that I at least didn't enjoy myself when I was watching it. It's just your usual Rocky ripoff. And then all of a sudden, Muhammad Ali shows up a couple times throughout the film. He's just there. I mean, he's playing himself, and yeah, he's in this movie. Typical 80s kind of cash-in, put a big name, slap it on the front of the poster art, he's on the back, just say Muhammad Ali's in this movie, and people are gonna watch it. So they do that as well, another kind of Cannon tactic. But overall, it's not a good movie, but like I said, I can't lie that I actually didn't enjoy it. The transfer on this is really, really solid. Scorpion did a really great job with the transfer. It looks really, really, really good. You could tell that the negatives that they were using were strong, and it looks really good. It sounds really good. I feel like at some points of the film, the soundtrack is a little bit too high in the mix. It kind of drowns out a lot of the dialogue at some points, but it's not in the entire film. And of course, that's not Scorpion's fault. That's just the fault of the negatives and Cannon back in the day. So it's just your typical Rocky ripoff from the time period, Blaxploitation kind of Rocky ripoff. Not that many special features on it. You got the trailer, and then you got an interview with Leon Isaac Kennedy. So at least there's some kind of feature on this release. And you have your keep case with your cover art, and then the disc has your other cover art kind of image here. So overall, it is what it is. I had a okay time watching it. It's not like I'm going to be like, hey, everybody, you got to watch Body and Soul from 1981. It's such an amazing movie. But I can't lie that it didn't make me chuckle. So that is my review of Body and Soul. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. Hope everybody's doing well. I shall talk to you guys soon. See you guys.